During Gamescom 2024, we got our first look at gameplay for Lost Records Bloom and Rage, the upcoming narrative adventure by the original creators of Life is Strange. Lost Records was first revealed at last year's Game Awards, and while many fans have been following its development, I realized that not only was the game's debut over 8 months ago, but what we've learned about Lost Records in the span of a few days is more than we ever knew in the entirety of that time frame. If you're new to the channel, my name is Kelsey, and in this video we're going to be breaking down the new gameplay trailer and going over all of the new information that we've gotten about the game since Gamescom, including the hands-on previews, news articles, and interviews with the devs. I'll also be sharing some of my own thoughts and interpretations along the way. This video will include spoilers for the beginning of Lost Records, so just a heads up before we begin for anyone who wants to go into the game completely blind. The trailer begins with a quick montage of each scene. We see Swann with her camcorder, a close-up of a monarch butterfly, band shenanigans, our girls posing together by the overlook, the log walk, and that final enigmatic moment in Nora's garage. While 4 seconds long, this montage captures the trailer's essence perfectly, encouraging you to start asking the obvious question of, what the hell is going on here? In the next shot, we get a much better look at the exterior of the blue Spruce, which was first seen through the lens of Swann's camcorder in the Lo-Fi Summer trailer. Not recently shared more about the various locations in Velvet Cove on the official Lost Records social media accounts, and have stated that early concepts of the blue Spruce were meant to capture the feel of a rundown bar you might see on the outskirts of town, an old place all the locals know with a patina of small town history. With Kat and Swann hanging out in the bar's parking lot in 1995 and adult Swann meeting up with Autumn here, it seems that the blue Spruce will be an important location in both timelines. But what's interesting is the fact that Swann is back home. We learn that she moves away after that last unforgettable summer in Velvet Cove to Vancouver, Canada. So I have to wonder what exactly she came back for. Did Autumn decide to remain in Velvet Cove and reached out to her? And what about the others? Are they around too, or is this an instance of going back to where it all started to try to put an end to whatever seems to be haunting them? I also really love the level of detail here. The moth circling the overhead light outside, the sleepy bar atmosphere, the low lighting, how the mocap captures Autumn's reminiscent and somber expression. Her eye flutters as she listens to Swann and looks away. You can just sense that there's some unspoken feelings here. And I know that this is pre-release footage, but it looks really good. We then get our first look at the game's dialogue menu, and while initially I was surprised to see how different it looked in comparison to Dontnod's previous games, I actually really like it for that exact reason. Lost Records is a completely new IP that stands on its own, and the UI is a testament to that. It's bold and fits the overall vibe of Lost Records seamlessly. And while I just turned 24 and am much younger than our cast who was tearing it up in the 90s, I was reminded of those bright pastel quiz pages I was obsessed with as a kid, which were prominently featured in teen magazines. These magazines gained popularity in the 1940s and were hugely popular in the 90s, especially around the time our girls got together. And although technology has made them less popular today, I remember the excitement of going through the checkout line in the 2010s to find and read the latest celebrity gossip. I found myself feeling very nostalgic from the dialogue menu alone, which was something I wasn't expecting given that I grew up in the 2000s. Swann is then seen entering Nora's garage. She is greeted warmly by her new friends before band practice.
Hey, she actually showed. Welcome!
From Kat's dialogue, it seems that this is the moment where Swann officially becomes part of the group. We can clearly see that Nora has decked this space out with punk posters, band equipment, and other personal items, one of which I'm pretty sure is a SNES or Super Nintendo. It could also be a Sega Saturn, but from the controller shape, I'm pretty sure it's a Super Nintendo. We've also got VHS tapes, beer, pizza, candy, definitely Nora's cave. This is where the cinematic from the original trailer takes place. Next is our first look at Swann whipping out the camcorder in real time to interact with Autumn and Nora. From the interview with Kathy and Luke Bagadoo, we learn that the camcorder acts as a tool for Swann to interact with the world. While it will be used to complete objectives, there is actually a lot of agency when it comes to what you can do, from filming your friends and unlocking secret dialogue to taking your own shots and creating memoirs, which Swann herself will add commentary over.
It's cool to see after all the things that you filmed, basically your memoirs of the whole summer.
Yeah, that's the thing, because sometimes you do a bad shot or you miss a specific animation, something you wanted to film, and you can replace and switch to find the perfect, I would say, compilation.
Yeah, just like with filming anything, like maybe not even tied to objectives, there's going to be stuff that maybe you're not aware of the first time you play that you should have filmed and will want to try to do the second time.
Exactly, and I love the fact that when the games go into the camcorder mode, it switched to this old school resolution and this, this bad quality video that has their own charm.
It has the
really cool
vibe.
Yeah, and each time I go back to gameplay, it's like, oh, it's the very beautiful HD game, because I kind of get used to the crappy camcorder, 90s camcorder resolution. Yeah.
That's right, a photo mode and a don't nod game. Or maybe video mode would be better. Either way, we can document the things that we see around Velvet Cove. Not only can you edit what you film by splicing in new footage, but you can make your own creations. Characters around you will also respond to being filmed, and because of this, there's even more of an incentive to replay the game. This level of agency also extends to the dialogue. Players will have the opportunity to engage with the world and build rapport with other characters through the choices they make, which will affect relationships and determine who they get closest to. Michelle Koch and Jean-Luc Canu went into more detail about this, stressing the importance of realism and how those who played Life is Strange 1 and 2 will feel at home while also finding a much more immersive and dynamic experience.
Yeah, we really want you to feel like you're part of this group, and in real life, you need to try to fit in the conversation, to wait for opening when you can talk, maybe just listening and finding the right moment to talk, or you can decide to interrupt someone and talk over them. And to try to give the players even more agency on the game, we also added the fact that you can look around in the environment and find new dialogue options by pointing at objects or at people, and it will unlock for you new dialogue options to try to bring new things to the dialogues.
But it's like in reality, sometimes you can talk, but sometimes it's better to shut up. So you have to choose what you want to say and what you don't want to say.
And we really hope that you will feel that it is an upgrade compared to what we did before, and that it will give you much more dynamism and agency over the dialogues in the game.
So here, who you choose to complement in this scene may result in a stronger bond or connection with either Nora or Autumn. The Vortex Club VHS case has been a highlight, and don't nod, you knew exactly what you were doing by throwing this in here. Makes me so excited for how many other callbacks and references we'll see in this game. Nora has the X-Files reference on her guitar. The I Want to Believe sticker is referencing the UFO poster that hangs above Mulder's desk in the show. I know that a major theory in the community right now is that the big bad is going to be aliens, and while the X-Files was extremely popular in the 90s, this could possibly be foreshadowing to future events. In the X-Files, Mulder and Scully investigate paranormal cases, including aliens. Nora also has a burning coffin sticker and thunderbolts. Autumn's guitar has hearts, stars, and a reference to Riot Girl, the underground feminist punk movement. I can't wait for the soundtrack, guys. Next few shots are Swann recording Autumn on the nature trail, which I believe may be an example of one of those rare captured moments of hidden dialogue. A close-up shot of Autumn skateboarding outside of the movie palace with Nora, which is a different angle from the one that we saw in the Lo-Fi Summer trailer, and a further glance at dialogue selection. Two of these options seem to be on the flirtier side, which may confirm my theory of Autumn being one of the romance options for Swann. And I gotta say, these two have so much chemistry. Look at them.
Skateboarder's wisdom. Never land on your wrist. I want to see you skateboard, Autumn.
Even the way she says that, I want to see you skateboard, Autumn, reminds me so much of like when you're in high school and you're trying to get closer to your crush. Yeah, I see what's going on here. This next shot is so pretty. The lighting is so gorgeous. And we get to see Kat in action. Now, Kat looks like somebody I'm gonna have to watch. Like, that is the face of someone you just know is up to something. But Kat is quickly becoming one of my favorites already. Her style, her personality, that adventurous spirit, I'm completely here for it. Love this shot of them on the log bridge. I could go on for ages about how good this game looks.
We're gonna need a real band name. How about Bloom and rage.
And there it is, Bloom and Rage, the official name of our girl band and the origin of the game's title. I also really loved the fact that Don't Nod made these teenage girls look like actual teenage girls and not like Sephora supermodels. I feel like a lot of developers are terrified of making characters look like actual people. What teenager doesn't have acne or scars or blemishes? They dress like teenagers and behave like teenagers. You can already see that invincibility mindset between them, that reckless joy and desire for acceptance. It's something I'm really glad to see. Next, there's footage of them by the Overlook as they watch Swann's recording. The TV begins to flash, and once again we see that purple light which flashes across their faces. This is the same purple light that was emanating from the crater in the ground in the original trailer. Whatever this is, whether the light itself is bad or simply an early warning sign for the actual bad thing, it seems to be accompanied by some kind of electrical interference.
Whoa! What the hell? Power outage?
From the preview gameplay, we can see that the camcorder seems to take a life of its own here, showing footage that Swann didn't even remember filming. And while we still don't know what exactly is going on here, the next scene is especially intriguing. Autumn tells Swann that her mother found a package on her doorstep last week. This box, hastily wrapped with newspaper, is placed on the table between them. The newspaper itself is mostly ineligible in the trailer, but the official Lost Records Twitter account did post an extended clip of the box being examined, which gives us a much better look. And when I tell you guys that seeing this up close instantly gave me chills. The writing on the top of the box declares that it is meant for Bloom and Rage, which is, of course, our girls. Underneath it is the question, remember 1995? And immediately to the left is only one of the many circular or vortex-shaped symbols that are all over this package. The word vandalized is also inside of it. What really caught my eye, though, is the image of the forest that is heavily circled on the bottom, which is clearly the nature trail or forest area we see featured in the trailers. Directly above it is an article titled "Search for Missing Local Continues," with the quote, "See you in hell" on the left. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that this is referring to the line "See you in hell" from the song Bloom and Rage is jamming out to in the original trailer.
We'll see who's laughing when I see you in hell, see you in hell.
When I saw this, I was immediately reminded of that secret post that was shared on the Lost Records Twitter account. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, back in February, Lost Records shared a mysterious QR code, and if you scan this code with your phone or computer, it will take you to a private video on the Lost Records YouTube channel. This is an hour-long loop of literally just that line, "See you in hell, see you in hell." When the reveal trailer dropped on December 7th, fans were asking about the new song. So when this was posted, many of us thought we were just being trolled by the team. But listening to this again while also having the context of this box gave me such a haunting feeling. And yes, I did sit and listen to the entirety of this video to check for any secrets so that you guys wouldn't have to. There are none. But if you want to check it out, I'll link the video in the description along with the extended clip. Looking back at the box, "I was there" is followed by the repeated sentence, I remember. While I wanted to hold out and have hope that all of our girls would make it out unscathed, this clip is making me wonder, who else knows about Bloom and Rage other than those 4 girls who were in the garage that day? As they are running away, as the forest is burning around them, when they approach the crater, that ominous purple light, only Swann, Nora, Autumn, and Kat are present. From what we've seen, there is no 5th party, which doesn't make it impossible. Perhaps someone else went missing and maybe Bloom and Rage tried to cover it up, were the cause of it, or simply never talked about it again. But the thought of one of our own, one of our girls, someone from our Bloom and Rage, vanishing instead would be an even heavier burden to bear. For 27 years, nearly 3 decades. It is definitely giving I Know What You Did Last Summer and The Craft vibes. Also, is it just me or is anyone else getting the feeling that Lost Records Records may have more of a focus on horror than previous Don't Nod games. Life is Strange 1 and especially 2 were not shy when it came to violence and mature themes, but I'm getting a feeling that we're in for something much darker, and that these warm, sunny days are only the tip of the iceberg. From the gameplay trailer, we only have confirmation that Swann and Autumn made it out that night, which leaves the rest up to interpretation. The date on the missing local article is September 22nd. Our girls spent the summer together in July, and shortly after, Swann moves away, so the search for this person was likely called off that summer due to no leads, which would make sense given that whatever happened that night seems to be of supernatural origin. This article is from 1995, and without further info and considering we were sent Pandora's box, I believe it's safe to conclude that the person was never found. I mentioned in previous videos that there is a common theme of circular shapes in this game. Everything from the O in the Lost Records logo, to the close-ups of Swann's eye, to the logo being over Swann's eye, to the graffiti at the park, and now these symbols on the package. These symbols may possibly represent the shape of the crater in the ground they discovered, or maybe even some kind of gateway or portal or even viewfinder, allowing them to peer into a world other than their own. And if it's not some other party, if one of the girls had gone missing, did they make their way back through this gateway, or are they communicating from the other side? Are they angry? Is this a cry for help? And maybe Bloom and Rage didn't exactly throw their friend into some creepy alien portal in the woods. Maybe they all got freaked out, ran away, leaving someone behind. Maybe an unintentional sacrifice to save their own skin. Whatever the case may be, it seems that whoever sent this box obviously remembers and wants them to remember too. I feel like the more I learn about this game, the more questions I have. So much theory material from this scene. I would absolutely love to know you guys' takes on this, so please feel free to leave me a comment. I do read all of them. At the end of the trailer, the purple light flashes across the package before it cuts to reveal our official release date for the game. Lost Records Bloom and Rage will be releasing in 2 episodes, or tapes, that will be 1 month apart. Tape 1 releases February 18th of 2025, and Tape 2 releases on March 18th. This is a little over 5 months, 25 weeks, or 176 days from today. I'm not counting the minutes, you are. Either way, we finally have a release date. Finally, thank you. The digital version of the game is not yet available for pre-order, but the Best Buy page for the physical edition is up, which both confirms the price of Lost Records and the fact that there will be a physical edition. Lost Records Bloom and Rage is priced at $39.99 USD, which is $20 more than the OG Life is Strange and the same price as Life is Strange 2. You can also wishlist the game on its store page, which has also gotten a significant update. This definitely reminds me of something straight out of a 90s scrapbook. I love the cassette tape, the punk vibes, all the Riot Grrrl references. Don't Nod is somehow making me feel nostalgic for a time I didn't even grow up in. And this speaks volumes on how good all of this looks, how good of a job they're doing so far, in sparking that initial interest and connection with their fanbase. Don't Nod did allow some content creators and game journalists to play what we saw in the gameplay trailer, which was about 90 minutes of pre-selected in-game content. And I do want to talk a little bit about this and go over the highlights since we did learn some exciting new details. And I have to start with what I kept hearing come up in every single review. Every single one, and that was how detailed and interactive the world of Lost Records actually is. The game itself is beautiful, we can clearly see that in the new footage, but what's a pretty game if it's a mile wide and an inch deep? My favorite titles are the ones with depth beyond gameplay. It's those small details that tend to stick with me most, and I find myself captivated by good environmental storytelling, interactivity, those little missable secrets that exist for those who care enough to search for them. And seeing that everything reviewers got to interact with in Lost Records had a surprising level of detail makes me happy beyond words. In Swann's bedroom, there's so much to look at and examine, and she even has a precious cat named Pumpkin who I'm glad to see isn't locked behind a paywall. There's customizable outfits with various shirt designs and color selection, and as someone who loves changing outfits in games, I'm super excited about this feature. Like Max Caulfield, Swann never leaves home without her camera. Yet Lost Records differs from Life is Strange in that you can use the camera outside of predetermined spots. You can film whatever, whoever, and whenever you want. From close-ups of Pumpkin to a full-on music video for Swann's new band on the outskirts of Velvet Cove. The camcorder both documents and serves as a key to new experiences for Swann, as the girls all seem to bond over the home videos they make together.
Whoa, it's me.
This is so cool, Swann.
The Kotaku and Games Rant articles expand on this and the new consequence and dialogue system. Lost Records is all about capturing these moments through technology that Swann couldn't have conceived of being obsolete and likely forgotten years down the line. Beyond walking, talking, and examining items, I spent most of my time in Swann's shoes recording shots of her room and her friend's band practice on her camcorder. Her most precious adolescent memories are of her using the handheld camera to shoot 4 to 3 music videos for her friends she was dying to impress. Lost Records dialogue perfectly captures an awkward teen's best efforts to fit in, to the point where I couldn't help but empathize with her as I winced at the unabashed, unironic earnestness of how she speaks to her would-be friends. Lost Records Bloom in Rage tells a story that takes place in 1995 and 2022, but the preview mostly focused on the summer of 95 beyond a few sections. Those sections offered a great, nostalgic look into the decade, with the blocky TVs, cassette tapes, and stickers on everything Swann owns. Each area found in the preview had tons of sections worth exploring, and multiple objects to start conversations over with the members of the Bloom in Rage band. Choosing the right option even gave or lost heart icons to represent when a favored or disliked option was picked, which shaped relationships in a way that could be felt in real time that is emblematic of a don't not experience. Some choices even came with an icon of a small tree growing, which might mean that players even get to establish key parts of Swann's personality throughout their playthrough. It makes us wonder how these changes will affect whatever big choices Lost Records Bloom in Rage has in store for players in the full game. Don't Nod is very fond of having everything come together in the end, and there are plenty of cards that Lost Records has close to its chest still. There's plenty of potential for Bloom in Rage to end up being an incredibly dynamic experience by letting players shape Swann herself as they go. So yes, as I mentioned in my reaction video, these heart icons actually are brownie points, and they will let you know if you choose an option a character liked or disliked, which is sure to add yet another layer of stress to this game. I'm extremely curious just how much these choices will impact our relationships. Can you become best friends with one character and possibly even enemies with another? In Life is Strange 2, we saw a similar system in action when it came to teaching and bonding with our younger brother Daniel, but this was a sibling relationship and a two-person dynamic instead of 4. We've come a long way from Life is Strange 1 in 2015, and Don't Nod now has 10 years of experience under their belt. I can't wait to see what they do with this. The final thing I want to expand on is the level of agency in this game, and how other characters seem to have just as much autonomy as Swann. Our girls will strike up conversations with each other, interrupt each other, and even express interest or disinterest in Swann and her decisions. It seems that characters will no longer wait around aimlessly for you to hit a prompt to engage them, and will behave like actual people doing their own thing. I also read something in the God is a Geek article that I thought was worth mentioning. After watching Nora and Autumn perform, after you put a drum beat to their music, and making some dialogue choices that help you both get to know them and work out who you warm to more, Lost Records Bloom in Rage cuts to 2022, where Swann and Autumn are reminiscing about the past, specifically the events on the trail. And as it cuts back to you wandering around the beautiful trail, they hint at how their memories are both good and bad. While recording your friends, you start to see deeper connections between some of the friends. After asking Kat and Nora to kiss while standing in front of an old motorbike, Kat gets a little subdued, and it seems like she might have feelings for Nora. It's not explored in these moments, but it feels like it will be when the full game comes out. Your trip on the trail ends as you sit overlooking a lake under the spotlight of a blazing sun, talking about how lucky you all are and how this friendship is wonderful, before heading back to the garage to watch Swann's music video masterpiece, only to witness a fleeting moment where this blossoming sisterhood starts to fall apart. Now, in previous games, we have had characters interacting with one another or showing autonomy autonomy in cutscenes or completely off-screen, but again, it seems that there is much more emphasis placed on character agency in this game, which makes for a very interesting dynamic. Maybe we'll even see relationships completely change depending on our choices. If Kat has a crush on Nora, for example, could these two possibly get together? And if the player decides to have Swann crush on any of these three girls, perhaps even Nora, how would that influence these relationships or change certain outcomes in the story? In the preview footage, there is even a moment shared between these two, as Kat gives Nora a little look before smiling, and Nora then kind of gently taps Kat's foot with her own. If this is actually the case, guys, I need to see these decision trees and find all the hidden stats. I can only imagine the level of consequence and variety that we can soon look forward to. And that's all that I have to say about the new trailer and the information we got from Gamescom. I am so excited for Lost Records Bloom and Rage, and I would love to know your thoughts on the trailer in the comments. Feel free to share any theories or even details you picked up on in the trailer or from the recent previews. While we are still over 5 months away from finally getting this game in our hands, I look forward to what the future holds, especially as we get closer to 2025. If you want to see more videos like this, please consider hitting subscribe. Any new information we get about Lost Records, I'll be covering it. And if you want to check out any of the articles or preview footage mentioned in this video, I'll put them in the description. From what I can see, Don't Nod is doing an incredible job, and it makes me so happy to see that there's been further interest in Lost Records from the community. I know that a lot of people see only the brand, and with Lost Records being a new IP from Don't Nod, it deserves all the love. The team behind Lost Records is the same team that brought you Life is Strange 1 and 2 all those years ago. Those games that we love so much, and Lost Records is brimming with that same beauty and passion. There's still so much more to talk about, and I look forward to making theory videos and further analysis content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye bye.